That is, yes, 98.7 WFGR 817, owner of a lonely heart, Andy O and Dave Cagley, who's over there supporting. Hey, by the way, this is great. We got an attorney in here today because he can advise us about your stolen sweatshirt over there. Dave ripped that off another dude.
Yeah.
Tailgate.
Okay, I got a buddy of mine who went to state, and this was probably a couple of years ago. I borrowed this from him. And I didn't give it back. But Andy and I got into this argument earlier about men borrowing other men's clothes. Have you ever borrowed another man's shirt, ever? At some point in your life?
People are usually borrowing mine.
Oh, okay, but you've lent out, like a tie or a shirt or maybe a sport coat.
You know what, though?
It's usually coats in Arizona.
Here's the thing. He has to lend people clothes all the time. He lends people clothes all the time because they're he's defending them. Okay. They got to look good in front of a judge. They don't go around stealing their friends' clothes.
Okay, fine.
I've had a few show up in court in basketball outfits, and then I'm like, oh my God, didn't I? I've told you about.
I'm sorry.
This.
Those Duke basketball shorts probably aren't going to look so good in front of a judge.
Right.
Wow.
Gerald R. Stahl is here. Welcome, Jerry. Good to see you, man.
Yeah,
How you been?
Good to see you, Andy. Good
I tell you what, I've known Jerry for. Can I call you Jerry?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh,
I've known
yeah.
Jerry. I've known
Friends
Jerry
call
for
me
quite
Jerry.
some time because, God, it must have been close to 20 years ago now.
That you had your mishap.
I had my little mishap. I was coming out of the Sandy Corley run up in Oceana County, and I pulled out with an out headlight, and let's just say I'd gotten into the cups that day.
Yeah.
A few.
To the tune of about 30 of them.
And you know what? That's as good a reason to stop you.
Yeah,
I got a
exactly.
tail light.
Yeah.
What can you say?
I got pulled over. The cop comes up to the side of the car. He goes, "Oh, my God, it's Andy O'Reilly." And I'm like, thank God I'm getting out of this one. And I got to tell you what, when it comes to attorneys here, because the guy looked me in the eye and says, look, if it was a couple years ago, I wouldn't have this camera in my car, and I'd be following you home, and we'd be done.
Right.
Yeah.
He says, I got a camera in my car. I got a wife and kids to feed. What would you do?
Right. Yeah. Got to
Right.
put the cuffs on.
You know what? Let's go to jail.
And you deserved it. Let's
I
be
did.
honest. You deserve to get arrested.
I
anyway,
did.
'cause you can't be.
And you
did.
put in the
driving.
police report you were a celebrity.
Yeah. We put that in Andy.
But anyway, we get done. They let me out the next morning on PR. I didn't have to pay bail. I didn't have to pay anything. My first call was to Gerald R. Stahl. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know who to call. I didn't know what to do. And I got to tell you what, when it comes to attorneys, you went through, I don't know if you remember this or not, but you went through you gave me every name of every person I would meet through the whole process in Oceana County.
Okay.
From the registrar, or the what do they call the guy? Magistrate?
The judge,
Magistrate,
right.
the judge, to everything else.
Yeah.
And he says, if it's a penny over $750, call me back. Name by name, one after another, and $750.
Honestly, I remember the call, but I don't remember anything.
That's
else
what happened.
about it. I mean,
That's
you're talking 20 years ago.
I know, that's what happened, but I'm going to tell you what.
But you learned your lesson, and that's it.
There you go.
You
know what? I'll be honest with you. I didn't from that incident. I did
Strangely
not
enough,
learn
you
my
didn't.
lesson from that incident. It took me a couple of years later, but now I'm 11 years sober.
Oh,
Look at
nice.
Haven't had a
Nice.
drop in 11 years.
Nice.
And I never imagined my life would be what it was. But back then, you know what? I was drunk. I was driving.
Yeah.
I broke
There
the
you
law.
go.
I had to pay for it. And you knew everything and everyone
Right.
through the whole process. I couldn't believe it.
Right. Well, that's 31 years in the business. So
Yeah, you've been at it a while.
Right.
So talk about, drunk driving laws today compared to 20 years ago. Let's say, what's the difference?
Well, I'll tell you, about every 5 years they get stricter.
Yep.
I mean, it used to be 0.10, then it's 0.1 or 0.08.
Are they got it down to point? Are they going to get it down to 0.06? Is that, or were they trying to get it down to 0.04 now? Which to me
I
doesn't.
hope not,
which-
because there's just too many opportunities
Right.
out there for people to go out and really not be affected.
exactly.
You know, the one thing you see too is like refusal of breathalyzer. Years ago, it used to be 60 days. You'd lose your license if you refused. And then it went to 6 months. Now it's at 1 year. And that's with no restricted. So people don't really know that.
So if you
And-
refuse a breathalyzer,
and I'll get 30% of the people that come in will refuse the breathalyzer, and they'll go, "Oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. I won't be able to drive for a year."
right?
Yeah.
I had no idea. But a lot of it is because that advice of rights that they have is just so vague that people don't understand it, especially after they've been drinking.
Yeah,
And
they're not in the
cops
mindset.
Are not
yeah.
going to mess around with, well, what should I do? You know?
Right.
So-
I was really lucky because even when I got pulled over and all that, the cop that pulled me over, he pulled me off into like a closet, and he advised me. He said,
Yeah.
"Don't do this, don't do that." Now, I'm not saying that everybody gets that, and I'm not
Right.
saying I got favored treatment for whatever reason. he kind of helped me through, but that doesn't happen.
Right. It depends on every case is different, every circumstance different, every court is different, every judge is different. So
Well, I got to tell you what, it's a scary thing, and you know what, I had it coming. I was guilty, no doubt about it. I went in and I paid the price, and he knew it all.
Expensive,
very expensive. It's gone up too today, hasn't it? What's the average drunk driving going to cost somebody?
Well, you got to get a lawyer. I mean, you should. So your total is going to be somewhere around $6,000 to $10,000 by the time it's done.
And all you have to do is not drink and drive.
I mean, total with all the court stuff and driver responsibility fees and this
$6,000 to $10,000. Now, back in when I got, I think it was about $2,000 when I got pulled over. I mean, with lawyers and all that other stuff.
Right.
Unbelievable. Don't drink and drive.
Right.
That's all we tell you every week.
There you
Simple
go.
enough. How about some other? You were telling us about insurance on vehicles as well. This is something I don't know about.
I specialize in criminal defense and personal injury. And personal injury, that's really something I've focused on over the years.
Right.
And I was just telling you that I see people that don't have uninsured motorist coverage. You should have that coverage, because there are people out there that don't have insurance.
Right.
And you get whacked by them and seriously injured, and you don't have uninsured motorists, you're SOL.
What's the cost on that? What's the extra cost for uninsured motorists?
Pittance.
Really?
Pittance.
Really?
It's a fraction what you're. I mean, to get $100,000 of uninsured motorist coverage is maybe, and I'm just speculating, but $25 every 6 months or something.
Oh wow, that's honestly an extra $4 a month.
You should have that.
You really should.
Yeah.
And you said most people don't.
Of a tip.
Most people don't have.
Most people do have it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying is you should be aware that that's something you should have, because, like when I tell you guys, you go, well, what is that?
Right.
I'll bet you have it because your agent probably.
Well, we'd hope.
Yeah.
Don't get me started about insurance agents.
Right.
I'm not the guy to talk to about insurance agents right now.
Right. Well, anyway, I want
we've
to hear
had quite a year with
bet.
insurance companies,
because this was a great state, Michigan.
Oh yeah, the Michigan State
bet. Because
so what it was?
I love football.
So right? Are you a Michigan guy or Michigan State?
Well, I went to Gonzaga.
Okay.
So I'm a
Washington,
basketball
so
guy.
you're a hoops guy.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, but if you had to pick, which one?
I picked State.
All right,
of course.
I picked State on that because I really felt that this defense was the real deal.
Oh,
and I guess I was right.
Right.
They were,
and it was home for them.
They won?
I picked them to cover the 5.
And
you made a few. You made a few shekels.
I didn't.
Oh, you
bet
didn't. You didn't actually bet. Okay.
Now here's the thing.
I bet, but in Vegas.
Much like I fessed up to my DUI all those years ago, I fessed up to the bet.
That's right. It was, and the loser, which was Andy for picking Michigan, which was idiotic, has to rub the winner's feet. A foot massage bet.
So Dave is over there airing out his feet.
Yes.
You can see his feet.
He hasn't taken a shower in 3 weeks.
I don't know what he's done.
I did shower last night. I did not shower this morning.
Okay.
But I did actually pre-lotioned with the Citron honey and coriander lotion on my feet. So, whenever I think we're going to do that probably in about 5-6 minutes.
About 5-6 minutes, yeah.
Now I gave you the opportunity of having a proxy come in. Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
I see somebody here, and he looks pretty beefy. I don't know if, he's...
Well, let me tell you how this works, all right?
Okay.
So last week, we were giving away these Andy and Dave on WFGR T-shirts. Well, in fact, I got one right here. And I was contacted by Mike Evans over here. See that? Who wouldn't want one of these?
Of course.
Yeah.
These are
Look
awesome.
at that. It's a generic T-shirt. And I said to Mike says, hey, if you lose this bet, save me one T-shirt, and I'll come in and take care of Dave's feet for you.
What?
That was sweet.
Now you know why we didn't. Now you know why we forgot to give away a T-shirt on Thursday.
That was it. Because you saw this coming.
Yes, I did.
You saw the loss coming.
Foot fetish.
I had to cover my bases. My attorney advised me that due to the fact that I was arrested for a foot fetish problem years ago, my attorney Gerald Stahl.
Gerald R. Stahl
he
advised
told me
you.
not to go ahead and touch your feet. So Mike Evans over here is going to be doing the rubbing.
All right.
My
great.
proxy.
Okay.
All right.
He's going to take one for the team.
He seems like a nice guy.
Nice enough guy.
That's got to be 30 seconds a foot, Mike. That's just so you know, and make sure you use your thumbs.
Yeah.
Get in there.
We're going to get to that next, but
okay.
I'll tell you what. Can you come back from time to time?
I would love to.
I think that would be great because
fun.
you know what? Here's the thing. People don't often think about the law until it's too late.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You'd never think you're going to have to make that call to an attorney. What do they think? 2 beers now? You get pulled over with 2 beers on your breath?
Just don't get pulled over.
That's it. Don't drink and drive
late at night. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is because there's such that gray area when it comes to, okay, I've had a couple of drinks. It's been 2.5 hours. But I've had, let's say I had a 24, let's say you had a 24 ounce.
Dude, you cannot time it out like that.
You don't know.
You can't do that.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk.
All those 18-year-old drinking games that you used to play. You know, I mean, when you were a kid, you try to reason it out through your mind, and now that you're a grown-up, you got to stop and think.
Exactly.
Right.
Just don't do it.
Right.
What if they need to get a hold of you?
Well, geraldrstahl.com.
Yep.
I'm all over. 456-7372.
7372.
Yep.
I've called that number.
Yep.
There you go.
In fact, you know what? I think I had his cell phone number back in the day. I got to get that again just in case.
You were probably one of the first ones with a cell phone.
Jerry, it's good to see you, man. Welcome to the station. We're glad you're here.
This.
We're glad you're a sponsor of what we got going on here. And if anybody needs an attorney for any reason, give Jerry a call.
Good luck with the foot rubbing. Good move, not doing it.
Right there.
You never lived that one
We
down.
got Mike Evans to take care of that. It's coming up next. Stand by. 98.7 WFGO.